A very hot day at Brian McMahon High School, site of today's FCAC Boys and Girls Lacrosse Championships. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. And in just under 2 hours, the Girls Championship will be first up. Who's playing? Doesn't matter. Both games are the same. Darien and New Canaan. Frank Granito, Donald Eng, Dave Stewart in a little bit. I'm Rob Adams. Welcome to the program here in Norwalk. But we have to start with baseball. And look, the debate has been raging, Frank, as rage as can be since last night. Which is the better championship? Last year when Wilton knocked off Staples in extra innings, or last night when Darien knocked off Trumbull?
And Rob, you alluded to how you were a fan of the Staples-Wilton game because you believe in low scoring. You want to see that's how baseball is supposed to be played. I really enjoyed last night's game. You had hits throughout the game. You had a run early on from Darien. Their big bats were working. And then you saw both pitchers tighten up down the stretch, really do a great job. And the excitement of extra innings where both teams were able to score in that last inning.
It was so exciting. In fact, 3-2 the final score. Trumbull got a lead in the top of the eighth, but Darien kind of said, okay, now it's our time.
And what was amazing was that it was the bottom of the order who really picked up the slack. Darien had a chance in the seventh inning, tied 1-1 to win the game on a walk-off originally. It wasn't able to happen then as they had O'Malley, Chris Drake, and Cord Fox come up to the plate in that inning. Credit the effort from Matt Drake, the heads-up play to take third on the second sacrifice of the inning, and it was small ball ultimately that won the day.
How did it all turn out? Well, we're going to show you. We'll get Don involved as well. We've got some softball to talk about in this first segment. But first, back to last night. You can't go wrong which game you preferred, whether it was 2015 or 2016. But let's go back and look at the 2016 highlights of the FCAC Baseball Championship here on Nutmeg Sports. With Frank Granito, I'm Rob Adams. Good evening, everyone. So happy you decided to join us for the 2016 FCAC Baseball Championship. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Big fly center field, starting in, going back over the head of Waldick in center field. Waltzing home is Brereton, 1-0 Blue Wave. No runs, 1 hit for Trumbull, 1 run on 2 hits for Darien. Each team has played errorless baseball. Pitch on the way. Pulled down the line and a fair ball past the dive of Schofield at third. This will tie the ball game up as Cicada comes on and scores an RBI base hit. As it's cut off on the infield, DeCoco ties us at 1. It's a nice sound here. Let's sit back and listen. The 0-2.
Definitely a roar from the Trumbull side there. Brought the heat upstairs, got Drake swinging. Great job by Nemchek.
The 2-2. A high fly ball. Off third, Loico, fair ground. No, he can't find it. And the last minute, over comes Danny Ruchowski to save the Eagles. And the inning comes to an end. It was near disaster. Just to be clear, the 2-2 pitch is on the way with 2 out. Called strike 3 and a breaking ball, and the inning comes to an end. Strikeout number 4 for Richard Brereton. 2-2 on the way from Brereton. Fastball, line through the right side, a base hit. Coming on to score is Loico, an RBI single for Chris DeCoco. It's a 2-1 ball game.
And it's just a real good piece of hitting here. Jams him inside, does everything he can to fight it off, just squeezes through that gap on the right side of the infield.
1 out, and the pitch. A fly ball, this could tie it, ranging over to make the catch is Rousso. Grabbed, the throw, coming home, he's safe. Now trying to go to third, and the throw there is not in time! Aggressive base running by Matt Drake on a sacrifice fly. The Blue Wave have tied it, and they're 90 feet away from the FCAC Championship. Here it comes. Lifted to left, and the Darien Blue Wave have off with the FCAC Championship. The coaches hug on the mound. The players go out to right field to celebrate, and for the first time since down, and they have won the FCAC Championship. So congratulations to head coach Mike Scott, the rest of the staff, and the Blue Wave on the 3-2 victory last night at the ballpark at Harbor Yard. What stuck out at me, and it really wasn't until I saw it later on, Sean O'Malley very confident in the bat flip on the game-winning hit, which was nearly caught by the left fielder last night, and that was Alex Rousso out there. Almost made a heck of a catch, but that did stick out to me in all the fun of last night. Let's get Don involved as well.
If you're going to showboat it, you better be sure.
Yeah, you better be positive. But very humble in our interview with him after the game. Your thoughts on last night?
Well, my biggest thought from last night. Go from here. I mean, we've been watching Darien all season long. A very good season, ending with the FCAC championship. Obviously, now as we go to the CIAC tournament, Trumbull finished strong. They actually beat Darien the last game of the season, and then going all the way to the FCAC finals. Does this propel them to a deeper run into the CIAC tournament? Because they have to know right now. They have to believe they can play with anybody in the state.
And we'll find out the baseball situation tomorrow. The CIAC rankings will come out, so we'll see the seedings tomorrow and the brackets and get an idea on all of that. But, I mean, the Blue Wave got the job done, bottom line. It really was wonderful. I hated to see errors actually playing a part in that 8th inning.
And we didn't see an error until that 8th inning, though. It was a really clean game up until then. And honestly, Rob, we saw the first. Credit Darien. It was one for the ages. It was an absolute classic game and so exciting to be a part of. And Darien thought they were the best team, and I really do think they went out there and proved that last night.
I think they did as well, although, as I said jokingly after the game, I'd take a 7-game series between those two. That was that much fun.
And somewhere Billy Bean just cringed as Frank said how well they're bunting.
Richard Brereton, the most valuable player, threw 110 pitches, went 8 innings, 1 run earned, 6 hits, 2 walks. Hit 1, struck out 5. He also tripled and scored a run and had an intentional walk at the plate. So he's the most valuable player. And real Don, now we get ready for a championship there. And once again, it's last year Redux.
It is. It's St. Joseph. It's West Hill. These two teams, it's a rematch. They did play about a week and a half ago. St. Joe's with the win. But, you have to figure that the cadets are in the driver's seat as we head to the FCAC playoffs, and as we head to the Class M CIAC playoffs. You have to figure St. Joe's is going to be one of the teams to beat.
You have to figure that the cadets have the advantage over the Black Knights of Stanford High in the championship game, but.
I said West Hill. I meant Stanford.
That's what we call a subtle correction, boys and girls, in the broadcasting business. But yes, Stanford. Look, I like that Black Knights team. I said it on yesterday's show. They're a feisty team. They've got a good personality. Would I be shocked if they won the championship? I would be surprised, no doubt about it, because St. Joe's has been the consensus #1 all season. But, this team from Stanford does not give up easily, as we saw when they played Trumbull. So hopefully a good game.
You would think so. I mean, ultimately, I think that Nicole Williams and St. Joseph just too strong. You have to go with the better pitcher in softball, and unfortunately for Stanford, that is the best pitcher is at St. Joe's.
We have a couple of guests on today's show as well. Frank is going to bring. Frank, you've brought them along, so you're going to stick around for that segment as well.
Very excited. We've got John Carlozzi and Aiden Gaffney from Vigor Fitness coming on with us. They've worked with a lot of the Darien teams as well as others in the FCX, so excited to hear what they're doing and their take on tonight's lacrosse games.
So again, Darien and New Canaan, girls lacrosse at 4, boys lacrosse at 7. Let's take a break here on Nutmeg Sports. We'll continue right after this on the HAN Network.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking, where community comes first, where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver, where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well. With the 24-month Bank Well Smart CD, you can earn 1.35% APY and raise your rate and add to your CD.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever. Park Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities with locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford. Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You're watching 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And welcome back to Nutmeg Sports. Frank Granito coming to you live from Brian McMahon. We'll be bringing you the FCX Championship for girls and boys lacrosse later on today. First joining us, though, we have John Carlozzi and Aiden Gaffney from Vigor Fitness. Guys, thanks for joining me. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now down at Vigor and at Vibe Fitness on Tokenique Road?
Right now, we're just finishing up the spring session for the athletes, and we're getting them ready for their summer season. And we're, getting them strong, getting them faster, getting them ready.
You guys have worked with a lot of FCX teams. I believe you started with Darien originally. How did you guys come in contact with Darien?
Work at the high school along with the physical therapy place. From there,
and we have seen it pay dividends over the past few years. Really, Darien's athletic program has taken off in that time frame with success across the board in so many sports. Let's go back to the fall. You worked with the football team, arguably the best team in the history of Darien High School. What made that such a special group?
Work ethic and just, the willingness to, as you start, being more successful within the sport of football. The one year we were 12-2, 12-1, just missing it. And then, to come back, the bar was always set and raised to, go undefeated. But then again, though, that came back to when Coach Trafone came in 2007 and, installed a great work ethic with weight training and conditioning. And, I happened to be there at that time.
And schools in the FCX, can you tell us about some of those teams?
Correct. We got the we got to work with Staples women's lacrosse this winter, which is a fantastic group of girls, and they put in some hard work. They're a young team, but they're building a program, so they're a fantastic group of girls. So it was exciting and fun to work with them.
And I think it's very unique, too. You're not just limited to the current FCX athletes. You guys work with a lot of former athletes who are now at the collegiate level. Can you tell us about some of those guys who still come back to you to this day to work out over the summers?
Currently, right now, I happen to be fortunate enough to work with a captain at Brunswick for football and lacrosse, along with Cho in Deerfield. And, you name it, Trinity, Brown, Amherst, a lot of schools for football and lacrosse.
And as we transition to lacrosse here, the big game tonight, a lot of these Darien players with familiarity. You know some of the other girls in the first game. If you guys were to make picks for tonight's game, who do you think you're taking? I'm putting you on the spot right now. I'm putting you on the spot, yeah.
12-7, and women 14-9.
You're going to go Darien for both of those?
I'm going to go Darien for both.
I'm awful with the numbers to get for picks, but I'm going to go with Darien for both. I want to see a hard-fought game now on both sides, and we'll see. But hopefully Blue Wave will pull it out.
It should be noted that we still don't know the rules totally of both games, so,
It's totally understandable. I don't think everyone here at the HN has figured out all the rules to girls lacrosse. But I want to thank both of you for taking time out of your day to come and meet with us. It's been absolutely great. We'll take a quick break here on Nutmeg Sports. Rob and Donald will come back, and we'll be joined with Dave Stewart as we get ready to preview the lacrosse games for tonight's championships.
At the Language School in Ridgefield, we teach practical language for real life, tailored to your professional needs or those of your children. Offering more than a dozen languages, the school specializes in creating customized classes for businesses, government agencies, and healthcare professionals in Fairfield and Westchester counties. Native speakers from around the world will instruct students of all ages in the language and the culture using a hands-on method. Find out more about what makes 7010.
Mosquitoes, ticks, gone. Guaranteed. That's what Mosquito Squad guarantees as America's most trusted mosquito and tick control company. Locally owned and operated, over 90,000 homes have been protected by Mosquito Squad using their dual protection method for season-long protection, which includes barrier spray service for eliminating mosquitoes and adult ticks, as well as supplemental programs to increase tick control. They use only USDA organic options, which are safe and non-toxic. Contact them today at www.squadctny.com or 203-893-4309. Mosquito Squad. No bugs, no bites, no kidding.
Do you need help reaching or maintaining your fitness goals? For over 20 years, Mike Pernice has tailored his time and expertise to clients on both coasts whose schedules demand flexibility and accountability. Mike is a certified lifestyle manager and has been called upon to help his clients eliminate negative behaviors such as coping with stress, improving their time management, setting realistic life goals, and cutting down compulsive behavior. If you're ready to start working toward a more energetic, productive, and healthier you, call Mike Pernice.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
Back with you on Nutmeg Sports from Norwalk's Brian McMahon High School. We're at Jack Casagrande Field. Championship coming up at 4 o'clock here on the HAN Network. Girls, then the boys. Darien, New Canaan. All right, Dave Stewart. How do we give the Rams a fighting chance in either of these games? Because the prevailing notion outside of New Canaan is that it's Darien's to go lose.
Well, you'd have to give Darien credit because of how well they played all year and the teams that they've beaten and the fact that they beat New Canaan already, both boys and girls. This is why you play the games, though. Everybody's got a fighting chance out there, and if you look at the first half and make it a complete game, we could be right down to the wire. And last year it was 13-12 in triple overtime. So they were there, and if they can play as well as they did against Ridgefield the other day, they could really beat anybody. So that's what New Canaan has to look for.
But Frank, the Rams in the boys game cannot have a quarter like they did to start the game. Their first quarter against Ridgefield was not good the other night.
No, and if the Rams come out and play a first quarter like that, it might be 6 or 7-0 before it's over. A big thing to watch out.
The freshman goalie's been playing very well right now. So Carolyn O'Day's been in there. I would put her right up at the top.
Frank?
I was thinking Caroline O'Day originally. I'm going to go with Campbell Armstrong, but not so much from a scoring perspective, but I want to say on the draws in the faceoff circle. The big difference in that second half from the first game was Armstrong was unable to win draws the same way she did in the first. Up front, because I'm a family guy and it's my sister's last game in the some goals today.
That was going to be mine, actually, so good call there. You've got the microphone. I'll stay with you. Who for Darien?
For Darien, Chandler Kirby obviously is their best player. She's done so much. Watch Laura Murphy today. She has had 12 goals through the first 2 tournament games. She is, I don't know how you can call a girl who scored 12 goals an underrated player, but she is a secondary scoring option, and the Rams had to deal with Chandler Kirby going off for 6 in that first game. It could be trouble if they're getting scoring from both.
Dave?
I'm going to hedge my bet a little bit here, and just whoever's taking the draws for Darien today is going to be key, because in that first game when they switched to Stein, I believe, for the second half, that's when they really started getting possession, winning all the draws, and really took over the game.
All right, now to the boys' side we go. I'll go right back to Darien. Who on the board?
I'm going to say for both teams tonight, the goalies. Cornell's been great. He was great the first time against New Canaan, and he could really maybe hamper their offense a little bit there. And of course, on the New Canaan side, what can you say about Drew Morris? He's been just phenomenal all year. Chip keeps saying he's the best goalie he's ever seen in high school, and it's hard to imagine somebody being better than him. If he can have a good game for New Canaan tonight and play like he played the other night, it'll be a close game.
Frank?
For Darien, I've got two players I want you to watch. Number one is Tanner Strube in the faceoff circle. Nick Cravato has been the best faceoff man in the FCX all year. Strube has struggled at times. He held his own in that first game, but he was on and off against Staples. And the other player to watch for Darien is Hudson Hamill, who will come in for him. Darien loves to score in transition, and we saw how quickly they can do it. Hamill is a big outlet player who they'll get the ball to start in transition. On the other side for the Rams, it has got to be Peter Swindell. Kyle Smith and Ryan O'Connell have gotten themselves going a little bit. Kyle Smith looks like a new player right now. O'Connell's got a tough matchup against Mark Ivanchek. Peter Swindell will be matched up on a short stick. As one of their elite scorers and a future Greyhound at the University of Loyola for a lacrosse player, he needs to contribute today. He can't be held scoreless like he was in round one of this matchup.
Hoping for a couple of good ones here. It's going to be warm now. Hopefully temperatures begin to drop as the evening goes along, especially for the night game. Will the temperatures have any impact on the girls' game because it'll still be hot then?
I think it will. And the big thing to keep in mind is the depth for around this temperature. If the girls have not been hydrating, we're going to see cramps. You're going to have to go to players who might not have played yet. Well, Darien will be able to rotate through a couple lines and try to stay fresh. I think similar to what we saw back in the winter.
Yeah, Dave, your thoughts?
I think so. I think it's true that the heat is going to play more into a game than say if it was too cold, because you're going to have people going in and out and battling fatigue and things like that. So that's going to be key. Darien would have the advantage in that case because of the depth, but it's all about conditioning at this point and just staying on the field.
Coaching play into this game at all on either side in either game?
It does, but these two teams know each other pretty well. They've game planned against each other. They play each other usually twice every year. So I think
in the girls' game, I think they've seen each other so much now over the past few years very well. How Coach Buzzio reacts to certain situations in the boys' game is going to be something to watch for me. We know Coach Braymeyer has been here. He has written the level of excellence and the book on how to win championships. Coach Buzzio has got to find a way strategy.
Is Greenwich. But Staples comes out on top at the end and should be a contender for Class L too. So kudos to them. And volleyball, Darien in the final again and against Ridgefield. You still got to play the match, but boy, what a season Darien's having.
I mean, you at 4 o'clock. We're going to try to stay cool. You do the same. We'll see you at 4 for lacrosse right here on the HAN Network.